it's indicating a greater level of need for an answer. So when you see somebody use words like what to do, how to, where can I, let's go up here, how much. So all these types of keywords are directly asking a question which conveys a sense of urgency. It conveys a sense of, I really want the answer to this question. And informational queries are much more ambiguous. So we're not really sure if they have a specific question right now, whatever it may be. So it's definitely more ambiguous. And that's kind of the idea behind the difference between informational queries and the question itself. So the real thing is that you guys should be starting to think thoughtfully about categories of keywords. Now let's go ahead and talk about the buyer funnel. So here we have a slide that's going to help us understand the process a customer goes through before buying anything. It's very important to know this because the way a potential customer searches the internet can help us understand where they are in what we call the buyer funnel. And the buyer funnel is an important term. We're going to use it a lot. So remember the buyer funnel. And every customer goes through this process every single time they make a purchase. Sometimes it's a 5-week or 5-year or 5-minute or 5-second process. But this stage, this step, these 4 steps always happen in every single person. So let's talk about the stages of the buyer journey. Stage 1 is what we call awareness. Okay? It's a person becoming, as it sounds, it's a person becoming aware of your products. There's a point in time where I don't know you exist. There's a certain time that I don't know about the chairs that Poppin sells. And then there's a point in time where I become aware that Poppin sells furniture. And it could be that it's becoming aware of a specific product, it's becoming aware of a specific problem. The awareness stage could also be the person developing an awareness that desk chairs could solve my back problems. That's also part of the awareness stage. Then there's interest. Okay, a person needs to develop a certain amount of interest in your product. So I know that desk chairs could solve my back problems. I know that Poppin sells desk chairs. I'm aware of those 2 important concepts or realities, and I need to have interest. I need to know that I need to be interested in a few things. I need to be interested in Poppin, right? Poppin's one thing I need to be interested in. I also need to be interested in chairs. So I need to be interested in chairs as a solution to my problem. So I am aware that chairs could solve my problem, but I need to be interested in that solution, and I need to be interested in Poppin's chairs. Okay, so that's part of the important aspects of this stage of interest. So a person becomes aware, a person becomes interested, and then a person shops. You can't buy anything without shopping. So shopping is, I'm going and looking for pricing. I'm looking for comparison charts. I'm looking at the quality. I'm looking at the service. I'm looking at the people involved. I'm looking at the costs involved. I'm shopping. And shopping could take a split second. It could take a split second, period. It could take just a couple seconds. If it's an impulse buy, if I'm going to shop for something which is incredibly cheap, if I'm going to buy a soda from the Coke machine, it's 75 cents, I still go through this funnel. I'm aware of my thirst. I'm aware that this freezing cold, ice cold diet soda will quench my thirst. I'm interested in the diet soda. It appeals to me as a solution. I go to shop. I physically walk over with $1 in my hand to the Coke machine, and then I buy. Okay, and that's the last step in the process. I actually buy the product or item, or I sign up for the service, or whatever it may be. So a person comes, he starts shopping around for desk chairs, and then eventually they're going to make a decision and buy. And what's very important to realize and to understand for our PPC campaigns is that queries go from general to specific as customers become educated about our products and services. So as a person travels down this funnel, Okay, we have broad and general queries up here, very broad and very general queries. And down here we have narrow and specific. And what's also interesting is there's a very clear relationship with click-through rate as well. Click-through rate for your ads are going to be lower up here. So CTR will start off low, and it will actually increase as it goes down. So CTR goes up as it goes down. You know, the arrows could be really done either way, but CTR, which is click-through rate, increases as we get closer to the buying funnel for our ads. So, for example, let's take Poppin as our case, because that's our company. What would be some keywords that a person would look for in the awareness stage? Think of a couple keywords that we would categorize, a couple queries that we would categorize as being indicative of the awareness stage. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about identifying what stage you are by your query. That's really the focus of keyword planning. Identifying what stage in the buying funnel you are by your query, because we're not talking to you. We can't read your mind. We don't know where you've been, and the best information we have, and really the only information we have is what you're telling us via your search query. So in the awareness stage, so what are a couple keywords? So once again, we spoke about the fact that a query for the awareness stage is somebody becoming aware that chairs could solve their problem, right? So some of these keywords might be, honestly, like be as broad as something like back pain. Okay, so somebody might just simply type into Google back pain. That's very broad. That's very far away from somebody looking for Poppin. So somebody types in back pain. Another query might be sitting for a long time. Okay, that's another general query. And these are all the awareness stages. And a person's going to look up back pain, and they might go to an article on Google about the different ways a back is positioned in a chair and what could cause back pain. They might find a lot of other causes of back pain, like diet and exercise, and they might, through those articles, through that educational process, the awareness stage is an educational process, they might start, really start becoming very aware of chairs and a better, more supportive chair being a good option for them. So that's some of the keywords in the awareness in the awareness stage. In the interest stage, somebody needs to now generate interest. So Jennifer, who is our case study, she went through an awareness stage where she researched some medical articles, and she found out that her chair could actually be causing some of her back pain. So in her interest stage is now she needs to know, she's going to start looking for chairs that solve back pain. And she doesn't really know what they are yet in the beginning of the interest stage. So she'll just search something like, chairs that are good for backs, right? So something pretty broad, but already that we see that Poppin, our company, would have a lot more interest in this keyword than we would in a keyword like back pain. Because this is somebody who's already showing and developing a little bit of interest in the solution that we could offer to their back pain. So that would be a keyword that is indicative of somebody in the interest stage. Once somebody's interested in the products, right, so they need to go ahead and start shopping. And these are when our commercial intent keywords start getting very concentrated in this stage. So somebody might come to Google and they might search buy supportive office chairs. Okay, so this is something that they would come and do in the buying stage. They might even do something like Poppin chairs. Now, why would they do Poppin? Because it's very possible that they heard about us in the interest stage when they were researching office chairs. And they might have heard about us from a blog post. They might have heard about us from an organic result. They might have heard about us from a Facebook campaign. They might have heard about us from an ad. And we'll talk about advertising at the different stages when we get into remarketing, when we get into different bidding strategies. But those are some of the keywords that would be indicative of the shopping stage. Now, obviously, buying is as it is. Buying is when somebody actually goes and checks out, and we made a sale, and hopefully we made more in revenue than it cost us to get the sale. So that's what we really want to do. So that's the overall understanding of the buyer's funnel. Everybody goes through this process. Sometimes it's extremely quick. Sometimes it's extremely, it's a subconscious process. Sometimes it's a very conscious process. Sometimes people generate interest without even knowing it. And sometimes people will search for days and days and days and months and do comparison shopping. Whether you're buying a home, or you're literally buying a Coke from the machine, it doesn't make an ounce of difference. It's the same thing. You still go through that exact same process.